Yeah, so I am looking forward to it. Our racers should be getting to go in just a moment. Just to be clear, what we mean here is there are 8 characters required, 12 espers required, and 4 dragons required to get to Final Kefka.
Yeah, and you can see one of the starting spooky things we've done is change some of the sprites and some of the colors. Because it's Halloween.
And some of the sprites and some of the colors. So we do have characters are in costume tonight. So playing the role of Kefka, we do have our favorite murder child realm.
Who better to dress up as a crazy murderous clown?
It definitely seemed appropriate to me when I was figuring these things out.
I cannot recall what Tara was. I believe she's a ghost.
She is a ghost. There were quite a few of our cast here who really weren't feeling up to being creative on what sort of costume they were wearing, so we do have quite a few ghosts with us tonight.
Probably not a lot of Halloween stores in the apocalypse world there that they live in.
It turns out Spirit Halloween hasn't opened a new shop in Albrook, and I don't know why. They've just really overlooked a market there.
Yeah, you'd think they'd be able to make some money, but you can't make all the good business decisions. I did notice Radio Guy picking up dark gear there in the Imperial camp check just outside of the sealed gate, which, if you'll notice, is almost the bottom left square on our bingo board. They have to kill a boss while wearing that to clear that.
Yep.
So and we do have 2 people doing the sealed gate and 1 person just looking for treasure, as far as I could tell.
Yep, that seems perfectly reasonable to me. Early on here, and I am a silly who did not start the timer.
Oh, how could you?
Fix that. And sorry, we had a recursive bingo card there for a moment. And actually, Mr. Entity, I do have to say I did make all of the NPC sprites I could Chancellors just for you.
They are the scariest character in the game. I did notice Radio Guy, who seems to be having some little hitches in his stream there, did get both of the chests in that little lava room with the bridges, which is not something you usually see people do.
Yep.
They do seem to be also going for another chest that a lot of people don't. Siberian Bull and Radio Guy are, I don't think I've seen them on the restream before, so they are fairly new. Regular viewers will recognize Jack. He's been around for quite a while.
Yep. And so, yeah, early on in a seed like this, we are definitely looking for items. We're looking for treasures. Jackamus has found a shadow who is also a ghost, although he was already dressed up as a ninja. Did he really need a special costume?
You can't always tell if he's alive or dead unless you take him out of his clothes. I did see Radio Guy getting another item that is semi-required for one of our bingo cards, a break blade, because again on the left towards the top, there is a requirement to proc an instant death weapon effect, and the break blade has that.
Very nice.
So they have 2 of the pieces of gear required for checks. And finding a Bismarck from a Chancellor over on the bottom left for Jack.
Bismarck has Reflect, Doom, and Imp.
Yes, we have fiddled slightly with some of the espers so that the bingo card was doable.
We did make sure this was doable before we put it out there, for the record.
Yes, it has been vetted. Siberian Bull finding... yes, it's open world. I'm already sort of confused because we don't usually do this. Siberian Bull just got the Celeste check and Seth Figaro finding another Esper. And I had forgotten completely that it was open world, despite saying that at the start of the stream.
Yep. So in an effort to do something new and special, we added in this bingo card, we added in a few tricks and treats here, and we decided to make it open world just to make it a little bit more reasonable, let's say.
Yeah, I would say the flags themselves are a fairly easy seed overall. You're not going to run into too many problems, which is why we also threw the bingo card in on top to give it a little more heft.
Absolutely. Looks like Siberian Bull is trying to get one of those instant death weapon procs here. Would help if he actually equipped the correct item.
It does tend to.
Which, is one of those details. And we should see our various runners start checking off things on their bingo card in the bottom left there as they do them. They only need to complete one line, and that is either horizontal or vertical line. I would accept diagonal. Would you accept diagonal?
I would also accept diagonal. When I was putting it together, I assumed diagonals were a thing, so I tried not to make those easier than other lines.
Perfect.
That is also why Revivify is in the middle, because it's the thing they should do the most in this particular seed.
And we'll see if any of our runners give that a shot.
I don't know that I've seen anyone really go to any shops yet, unless they did that right at the start and I missed it while we were doing our intro. So probably don't have a lot of them yet.
I think the only shop I've seen was the one at Gao Manor, since that is one that you are likely to pick up as you're doing that free check there anyway.
Shadow is not imped, chat. That is just the sprite they have. If they do become an imp, they will become a Chancellor.
Yes, Shadow is currently a tiny Moogle.
Well, yeah. Flame Shield there for Radio Guy. That's a nice find. Opting not to do the Leet River, it would seem. Just checking the chests.
Oh, looks
Leet River not usually one of the favorites of the runners for checks. Also, we are noticing one of our little tricks/treats is that Revivifies only cost 1 gold in the shops.
Can't possibly imagine why that would be.
They're not very useful items.
I mean, especially since Atma did add in that no undead bosses flag recently, which has been typically checked, but I wonder if any of our runners noticed that wasn't checked for this one.
Gonna have to correct you on something there. It is actually checked.
Oh, hey, look at
Atma
that.
has overridden the check.
Ah.
It is a special secret thing that, the audience might be interested to know. Not only the bosses, supposedly all the enemies also are undead.
So that is something that our runners are unaware of, and hopefully they will figure out this little trick as they go through the seed.
If they don't, they're going to have a harder time than they otherwise would.
An instant death kill that the enemy comes back absolutely does count, because as we just said, all of our enemies are undead right now.
Yes. Essentially with the bingo card, as long as the thing happens during a battle and they then win that battle, that counts. So, like, even if you cure yourself of zombie, you still get that being zombie type tile thing. Siberian Bull just seems to be trying to get guys some levels there, unless they successfully use that Man-Eater to kill a thing. They may just be having trouble getting that proc.
So in that case, it appears that Siberian Bull should get row 2, column 1, because he did proc that instant death effect. Are we having the runners do that themselves, or are we keeping track of that?
They have their own things. Jack, for example, just checked a thing. It is possible Siberian Bull has not done that, but there is no way for us to control the card.
Yes, unfortunately, both Mr. Entity and I are in the bingo card room as observers only.
Yeah, so I will write it down and see if Bull realizes they are in charge of that as we go forward.
So, Jack, is the first one on the board. Beat a boss while wearing dark gear. That is something that should be fairly easy. As soon as you find the dark gear, you should be good to go on that.
Yeah, until you get pretty far in, or unless you run into an awful boss, there's no real reason not to do that immediately. And Bulldozer, this is not a lockout style of bingo. Anyone can get the same square. Oh, there, they figured it out. I was just about to give them a message. What Bull has, maybe they just were waiting until they had a moment to click it.
Totally fair. So yeah, early on in an open world seed like this, we definitely see our runners doing quite a few of these open free checks, Celis's Cell, Gal Manor, Gate to the Sealed Cave, etc. They are just available and free, and you know, normally it's sort of a bonus if you pick up Celis that you go get to do her cell, but you know, now you just got it. I do see that Jack has picked up Gogo, who is dressed up as a wintry snowman Ultros in this seed.
And he is now fighting a Chancellor, and several other Chancellors. I don't know that I can look at the screen anymore, Raplin. Flashbacks of PTSD horror.
And he should be able to, if he's able to get through this boss, deal with, or he will get a reward of a character who is dressed up as Frog from Chrono Trigger.
Ah, nice. Raplin has the spoiler logs because he's a fancy boy.
Well, I mean, I have the spoiler log and I picked all the sprites. I don't remember who I picked for Frog, but it's a character.
All I remember is it's one of the lower ones on the select screen. Ah, Jack running straight into, I actually forget what that thing's called.
It says typically the Rider, and this is a still life.
And he's getting his Revivify out.
He has Revivified. I believe that enemy is undead in the vanilla game.
It is a natural undead, yes, so no one yet has picked up on the, essentially free kills for everything. Oh, and here comes our first use of Possess, which is an insta-kill.
Yes, so what just happened on Jackamus's screen, that tiny little Moogle used the Possess ability. That is the ability that ghosts have in the Phantom Train if you get them as a ally during save and scenario in the vanilla game. All of our characters who are dressed up as ghosts have Possess.
And it has netted him a Frog Yeti.
So one of the nice things about Possess, I do use the word nice very lightly here, Possess kills everything.
There is nothing in the game that is immune to it. As long as you hit with it, it is an instant kill, even on Final Cap. It does, however, remove your character from the party and shoves them back onto the airship. So once we get to the actual Kefka's Tower, will be interesting, A, how many ghosts they have, and B, when or if they choose to use Possess.
That is true. If you were doing a seed like this and you had the Possess ability, would you like level that character up like normal and then just have that Possess ability as sort of a get out of jail free card? Would you build your strategy around having multiple possesses? You know, how would you go about this?
It's a tricky question. It depends how many you have. If you've only got one, then probably just use them as an insta-kill as and when. But if you've got a bunch, you're probably going to want to, level up at least a few of them. There's no reason to, you could just walk into Kefka's Tower with, in this seed, technically 6 ghosts. And that's going to take care of almost everything, as long as you have a couple other people to bear the brunt of everything else that's going to happen. Jack's doing pretty good on those bingo tiles, I can see. And Siberian Bull. I'm not sure what caused that instant death effect, but didn't work. Perhaps it was Doom. In which case they should be checking off one of the things. Where is it? Top 4 across is to use the spell Doom successfully.
Well, successfully use Doom and win the fight.
Yes. I deliberately had to put in "and win" for all of them, just because I wasn't sure I would be able to make sure everyone absolutely understood that.
And just to make sure, so if you successfully cast Doom, the character dies and then comes back. That counts as successfully using Doom, correct?
Yes. As long as it procs correctly, it doesn't miss, e.g., it's fine. We're counting it. Because there's no other way to do it in this seed. We did just see Radio Guy get an instant death reversal on an enemy that is not typically undead. Let's see if they can figure out that Revivifies are a thing.
Ooh, Siberian Bull has found himself an Atma. Not Atma weapon, Atma, Big Brother. That is a little terrifying, but he is going for that Doom.
Can Doom hit Atma?
I don't know.
I mean,
not typically.
I don't think it's a thing. Interesting point that someone in chat made. They did also just pass the recovery spring, so they could check off another one of those tiles, and there that goes. Have we seen Radio Guy use some kind of instant death attack? I will send them a message, make sure they know that they're supposed to be clicking off their things just here in the bingo chat.
Yep. I think Siberian Bull just checked off... Oh, he checked off drink from a healing bucket. There we go. Recovery spring. Ooh. I was a little confused there for a second.
Yes, we made it not the bucket, because then you just land it nourishment. Hooray!
I don't know about you, but, I've been having really good luck with that Narsh Beginner's House recently, so...
It was an illuminated last time.
And we see our runners actually sort of converging here at Narsh. Both Radio Guy and Siberian are in there doing a little looting.
It's odd to see people come back to that. I guess Radio Guy... Well, no. My mind is so stuck in gated character now. I was about to say he has Mog. Mog is not necessary. We saw Jack earlier doing the Mog check without Mog. And that is actually something I'm noticing also. It's a little harder to keep track of what's actually going on just because people can be going anywhere.
Literally anywhere at any time.
Yes, here is Siberian Bull fighting an undead monster in a box, which is another one of our bingo tiles.
I will say one thing that is a thing here. You do need a fairly decent knowledge of the vanilla game to make sure that you know that, for example, that Spectre is an undead monster in the vanilla game.
Yeah, I would say it's one of the more obviously undead things, but, some of the things you'd think were undead, like Dullahan, aren't. Also, weirdly, a lot of the things that you'd think are flying and therefore immune to Earth, not necessarily a thing. You can hit the pterodons, for example, from the Leet River with Quake.
This game is well known for being absolutely bug-free, no glitches or exploits at all.
Oh yeah, and I've heard from all the people hacking it that it's just a joy. Everything is very well commented and described. No confusion whatsoever.
There we go. Jack grabs his healing spring as well.
Yeah. Whilst Radio Guy fights an Ultros who had some kind of Ultros character locked behind it.
If that's the Ultros character locked behind it, that should be Gogo.
Yes, I can see that on Jack's screen there.
And Jack yeets his Terra out of the party using that Possess ability.
Yes, it does have the ability to... Oh, that is a lot of ghosts.
Lots and lots of ghosts.
Now we can see why Jack has clicked off that recruit 2 ghost characters.
Yep, I believe there are 6 available. 6 or 7, I forget off the top of my head.
Half of them are ghosts.
So once again, we are seeing our players actually, just sort of lay a streaming line of fire behind them as they are blazing through this.
Yep. With Possess and an open world format, you can do a lot pretty quickly. It's actually been a while since I've never commented on an open world race. I've done them, but even that's been kind of a while. Okay, so we are seeing that Radio does understand that they need to click off their own things. Perhaps they just didn't understand what we meant by proc and instant death weapon. Because they have now clicked off the wear dark gear and kill a boss time.
There we go. Once again, there are more Revivifies here available for 1 gold, and I'm not sure they've quite picked up on that one yet.
I'm also noticing that my name is apparently Me Entity.
I'm so sorry. I was trying to set up too many things at once.
It good, me talk like that. Me Entity. Ooh, Siberian Bull doing a section of the game we almost never see, and interestingly, also skipping the chests on the way. I don't know why else you'd go in there.
Curious, although...
Oh, there's our first Revivify of a not typically undead thing. We'll see if that... Oh, they figured it out!
Haha! One of them has figured it out. Siberian Bull has figured out that you can revivify anything in this seed.
Every single thing in this is undead.
Anything will die to revivify, and I believe that goes up to and including Final Kefka. Welcome to Halloween with a special trick and special treats.
You gotta dance like Michael Jackson, because it's a room full of zombies.
It's also a room full of tiny Moogles.
I'm guessing this is a prequel to the actual game, and they grow up before the original. Oh, we've got a vamp.
Rename card. There are several available in the seed. There are some available in shops and a few available in chests. One of our special things is to rename a character after Vamp, one of our glorious Discord admins, as he does have the sort of spookiest, Halloweeniest name.
Yet again, just the nightmare landscape of Chancellors happening on the right side for Radio Guy. Jack finding a Revivify, not a great chest in this seed. Or in general, but especially in this seed. I imagine we'll see some Possess coming out, or perhaps not. Cranes are a fairly easy boss.
Ramu is an interesting choice here because it is going to power up one of those cranes.
Indeed. Usually you wouldn't... Oh, man, you look up to Radio Guy just when it's lagging on something and you get occasional really interesting freeze frames. I was not sure what was going on there. But yeah, doing a multi-target magic weakness on those cranes is an interesting choice. Also, Palador.
And Siberian has figured out it works on bosses too.
So that's gonna be something major in the favor of Siberian.
One thing I do want to point out, Radio Guy PDX is one of our newest community members. This is the first time he has been on Restream. And he actually just created his Twitch channel very recently, so go ahead and give him a follow for being, so willing to put himself out here for our entertainment tonight.
Yeah, it's always nice when the new runners are just like, yeah, I'll do a Restream race, whatever, it's fine. And I must say, this is one of the few communities where I would say, yeah, absolutely, do it. No one's gonna call you out for being bad. They'll just honestly give you advice.
Yep. Although I do have to say that this particular fight that Radio Guy is dealing with here is one of the less fun fights that you can get. Those veterans are mean enemies.
Yeah, they got a lot of instant death stuff going on. And I'm not sure. I mean, you can normally run from this fight. Do you recall what the percentage you put on the escapable was?
It might have been 100%.
Okay.
I
think
Jack now has 5 ghosts.
That's almost all of them.
So many ghosts.
Yep. And even just taking them into Kefka's Tower at level 3 is a major strategic benefit.
Yeah, because, like we said, literally any boss can be defeated by Possess. Have you actually ever seen Final Kefka be taken out by Possess?
Yes. I saw someone... it might have even been on a restream.
It was for the RPG Valkyries.
Ah, yes, that was the one. Yeah, it was quite recent.
Yep, RPG Valkyries. They are currently doing a charity marathon, and when we're done here, I will try to send over all of our viewers to them because they are doing a charity marathon to benefit a mental health charity. So we definitely support them, and Worlds Collide was part of that. But when you use Possess on Final Kefka, there's no crack boom. Kefka just disappears.
He just gone. There's a Chancellor giving Jack Tarato, another Esper for him. Well, yeah, good on the Valkyries for what they're doing right now. You should all go check them out. Like Ravlin said, we'll probably kick you over to them after this. And, if you got a buck or two, maybe think about giving it to the cause.
Absolutely. So Jack is giving us a view of the most terrifying Phantom Train I have ever seen. It is Chancellors everywhere.
Here comes an easy movers fight for Siberian Bull. Although I think if you use Revivify on enemies, does it auto retarget? No, it does not. That is the thing you have to keep in mind when you're using Revivifies like that. And question in chat: Final Kefka, when we say it, generally means the final floating single man at the top of the last fight, not the whole 3-tiered monstrosity.
But each individual target in each individual tier is also vulnerable to Possess.
That is true. Also revivifies. That's the funny thing. We gave them a definite insta-kill ability, and then also gave them, hey, you can just use an item. It's fine. But Jack, doing the Ghost Train, something people don't normally do. It is fairly long check, but it is also on the bingo card. Kinda middle, fourth across.
Yep, that is true. Jack doesn't seem to be going for one particular line over another one at this point.
No, he's just supposed to be getting whatever.
So... Well, because some of these are going to be a little challenging to find, possibly. Doom, Doomgaze, Poltergeist, Dullahan, Hydon.
Any of the ones that are just a straight boss, that it did come up in the chats before the race. It does mean specifically kill that specific boss. It doesn't mean go do the Doomgaze check or whatever. So that is a little bit of a scavenger hunt and a slight, I don't want to call it a luck fest, but you do have to find them. Whereas the ones that are just go do this check is, just go do the check. You're fine.
Especially considering that we are here in open world, able to do whatever we need to.
Exactly. Which is why it's helpful that the spookiest checks are also kind of the longest ones. Phantom Train, Science Dream, Fanatic's Tower, all some of the longest checks in the game. Drill's Tomb, medium.
And I do absolutely love the idea that they are not only spooky because they're long, but they're actually a little creepy if you think about it. Fanatic's Tower is a cult devoted to a mad murderous clown. That's creepy as all heck.
Yeah. Drill's Tomb is filled with undead monstrosities and just is a flooded grave site. I mean, Phantom Train is literally carting dead people to the afterlife. Good luck not getting spooked out by that. It's also full of literal ghosts. And, Science Dream, A, just straight up has the Phantom Train in it, and B, is like a weird PTSD dive into someone's mindscape full of monsters. It's a very odd area of the game.
But, that is one of those things that just makes this game so special in my heart. There are things as, prosaic and, pedestrian as, let's go fight a snail in a cave, and things as weird as let's go do an opera and dive into somebody's head.
Yeah, if you actually stopped, if you played it as a kid, you probably never actually stopped and went, what the hell's going on here? But if you actually stop to think about a lot of the things in this game, it's really, really weird. But also, really, really good. It has a very good, serious, heavy element, and then just random, I presume, thought up in a fever dream moments.
But that is what makes it so memorable.
Exactly.
Yeah, that and the world-ending apocalypse.
That happens all the time. That's happening right now. Don't worry about it.
Bull is now really starting to go through like a hot knife through butter a lot of this stuff now that he has figured out the special treat that we have put in here.
The only one who's figured it out so far, there's Radio Guy procking Doom, I believe, and we'll see if they check that off. Whilst Jack is fighting piranhas. Running away from piranhas, rather.
To be fair, if there were piranhas flying through the air at you, wouldn't you run?
I'd probably just stop and look at them and hope they fell to the ground. Because I don't think I can run away from them if they know how to actually fly. I would hope someone was just throwing them at me. Although then that person would give me a great deal of worry. I'm also noticing Radio Guy has not actually set up his go-go, despite having had go-go for a little while. Oh, there's an impresario on Siberian Bull's side. I believe that is Setzer, and it is. And they have dance, which leads to another one of the checks, top left, which is to use the Spectre ability from the dance command.
Yes, that is unfortunately a little bit random, even if you are using the correct dance. Let's see how long it takes to actually happen.
That is one of the checks I'm not sure is going to get clicked on. It's going to depend on how much of a line people have.
Absolutely.
There's one thing I did notice at the last minute, so I didn't really have time to change it while I was just rereading the flags. Dance is randomized, so it's not even you have to use the right dance. You have to use all the dances.
So we do have some more and less challenging options on the bingo card. Siberian Bull did find one of those bosses that we're looking for. He found Dullahan.
I didn't even know it was gone so fast. Chatternook down on Jack's side, and Radio Guy. Siberian Bull was the one at the start who was fighting all the fights. Now Radio Guy appears to be... and Radio Guy has also figured out the Revivify trick.
He's done it on a regular enemy. Has he figured out he can do it for bosses as well?
Who knows? He also finished that fight with Gogo as an imp, which is... where is it on the card? Somewhere on there. I don't know, it's on there somewhere. To be an imp and win a fight.
Actually, it says you need to kill something with the imp.
Yes, kill something with the imp. Right, because... Right. We modified that because we had Atma put imp on every single Esper. So it would have been a nothing check to just imp yourself and then do a fight.
Let's see. Jack finds a set of fixed dice at the bottom of Barren Falls. A little amazed that he was able to find them. Be able to find a set of dice at the bottom of a waterfall? Huh.
They're fixed. They're fixed. They don't move around.
I'll be curious to see if Jack ends up using those fixed dice.
There's drill. Jack tends not to unless he has to. It's one of his least favorite things to do, simply because they are slow and unreliable. They do have major uses, but they're problematic if you're of the mindset that Jack has, which is just do the fastest thing possible. Getting an Esper from the lock check there. Haven't seen anyone do that, or frankly go check on the Paladin Shield, which Jack is now doing as well.
This is true. I think he might be the only one to actually have lock, which in open world, I believe these are still the only checks that you specifically need a character to do.
Ooh, 30. That's a horrible number.
Yep,
That's not what we do from the start. I'm not actually sure if lock is required here anymore. I know Atma said he was going to fix it. I'm not sure if he got around to it. He does so much that it's hard to keep up with every single...
And it's been so long since I've done an open world seed that I frankly don't know.
Yeah, they're not super common.
For anyone who is interested, I do want to let all of our viewers know that after this race is over, I will be uploading, we have several versions of these super spooky special seeds. I will put them in the Discord so that they are available for anyone who wants to play them.
Yep, and I can put up the bingo list as well, although they won't... Not every tile will be completable in every scene. I guess I could switch out some of the checks into different ones, but there's no real way to guarantee if we're listing bosses and characters and stuff if you're going to get something.
Ooh, Jack hits that,
Oh, that's the worst
quake.
jargon.
But he does get the Revivify off on it, so I think Jack has now figured it out as well.
Yep. That's Jack good to finish at the seed then, just like everyone else. Once you know that, it's just a matter of finding those bingo tiles, which again is one of the reasons we put the bingo tiles in.
Yep, as soon as our runners figured out what was going on, that it would make things a little quick, so we wanted to add a little bit of length here so that we put on a decently long show, so that's why we upped the character and Esper requirements, added in a few dragons, and a little bit of a treasure hunt.
Yeah, Setzer there trying to use a dance. Clearly attempting to get Spectre off. I did notice them use Love Sonata first, but they did switch it out with the second one.
One thing
random dances is not one of those flags. There's certain flags that I just don't usually notice, and whether dance is random is one of them. Although I believe it is standard for it to be randomized. Seeing Dataluma go down there on Jack's side with the Revivify. It'll be interesting to poll the players afterwards, and certainly the ones off stream, and see who all figured that out.
Absolutely. I do have to say, the Impresario, I think, is my favorite alternate sprite. Just the sight of this middle-aged man trying to dance and, look so put upon trying to, save the world. Just
and he's not doing a very good job either. He's too old. He should have stuck to running the opera.
The very first test seed I did of this, I had Setzer as my starting character, and the Impresario just putting his hand up on his head, looking so put upon at various spots, just made my night.
Oh yeah, he's got some excellent little bits on his sprite sheet. Jack going down into the Umaro check there. I did not see what he got from Valley Garmandis. That's kind of one of the things when you allow insta-killing of every boss. Radio Guy getting an Esper, Phoenix from Behemoth Cave. When you allow insta-killing of any boss, if you even look away for 5 seconds, it's done. So it's a little hard to commentate on that.
That's part of the fun, though, isn't it?
I imagine the racers are having a lot of fun. The moment that they figured out that you can revivify anything must have been just stupendous. I hope some of them were in the bath with a towel next to them so that they could jump out and run around the town.
Have their eureka moment.
Yes. And here comes a revivified Tritok. Or sorry, Valley Garmandis.
I still
prefer
think
to
it
use
is.
stupid name.
I don't ever remember the other name, so it's just Try Talk to me.
Oh yeah, it is Try Talk to me. I just go out of my way to say Valley Guardian. Same as I go out of my way to say, oh yeah, I'm going to Bing that instead of Google it, just because it confuses people.
Siberian Bull did just sell some items and pick up a set of Dark Gear so that he will be able to get that Dark Gear spot as well.
Dark Gear, not a terribly hard thing to do. You just gotta find the item. And did Siberian Bull not go through the sealed cave? So it was one of the checks there in the like the guard checkpoint there.
In the Imperial base, I believe that one is.
That's what it's called, yes.
Apparently he did not go through the cave. Maybe trying to get a little bit of advantage and not trying to do things a little bit differently than some of his competition. When you are doing a race like this, sometimes you want to make those off choices on the chance that can give you a real advantage that other players aren't going to go for.
Yeah, I will, for example, sometimes opt to loot South Figaro in the World of Ruin instead of the World's Balance, just in case I find something there that other people don't have.
Bull is now going through and doing the Daryl's Tomb check. Looks like trying to go for maybe that line, or if he can find Poltergeist and get a character zombied and win, getting that middle line might be a valuable strategy.
He's got a couple really valid things to attempt to do. I haven't seen anyone find Phantom or Fenrir yet, so those two squares are still a bit of a mystery, as are some of the bosses, but some of them they should already know how to do.
I am amazed that no one's gone to Fanatic's Tower yet. I mean, we've incentivized them to do it.
Everyone always does that immediately. Anytime I start with Striga, that's the first place I go.
Fanatic's Tower is an obnoxious place, but you can still use items in Fanatic's Tower.
Yes, so now they all know that, there's the Azure painting, John. That is another one of our tiles. But yeah, once you know that you can kill anything with a Revivify, I guess, Fanatic's Tower is still long, but at least you know that you're not going to run into any magic-only related problems.
Now, here's the question, and I see Radio Guy is completing Ozer's Mansion. Since the tile is only get grabbed by the painting, could possibly be the play to just grab that check and then leave. But
he does still need 2 characters and 8 espers, so might as well do the check when you're halfway through it.
Fair enough, although he's not using those Revivifies. Oh, there we go. I think he forgot there for a moment. Or was trying to see if he was powerful enough to get through it otherwise.
It still hasn't checked off his instant death proc, even though I've seen him do it more than once. So, also Doom. So I think he may be thinking that you don't consider them procced if they don't actually kill the thing. I will throw a message into the bingo chat to make sure he understands that.
All right, thank you for taking care of that. By the way, now is a pretty good time to shout out our Restream team. So I am both commentating and restreaming. And thank you, Mr. Entity, Me Entity.
Me Entity!
Apologize again for that typographical error on my issue, for joining me on commentary. And we do have Franklin here helping us track. And, he is keeping up amazingly well considering our players are going all over Kefka's creation, let's say. And Radio Guy has found a poltergeist. He has found the spicy chicken.
Well, that's one of the tiles. So, yeah, good on them for, continuing through that check. Because that was unnecessary. I Jack coming up against Tritalk and Siberian Bull taking that Dataluma that we saw Jack kill earlier.
So that does mean that Ozer's Mansion is worth two bingo tiles. That is quite a valuable space.
Indeed. So hopefully people will think to go through it and not to do the like game theory style thing of just getting out of there. Yeah. They do have an interesting set of espers too for a multi-esper seed. They have Palador and Tritalk and Alexander, some very heavy damage they could use, but they have all figured out that Revivify trick, so not necessarily necessary.
Yep. One other treat in this seed is Strago is a Boko from Final Fantasy V, sort of in the theme of our Strago and Realm being able to equip the things like the Moogle suit, where they can dress up like things. So we've got Strago as Boko the Chocobo. Strago also has Shock.
Yeah, that's a reason to use Strago.
Strago
Although
also...
again, not necessarily in this siege.
I will say that Strago does have one of the better magic attack stats in the game, so he is particularly well suited to using Shock.
It is like 36 or 37, somewhere around there, so that's very decent as a magic stat. But when you have access to so many insta-kills, it kind of just throws it in your face that so much of the rest of the time he's not very good. But we are seeing Siberian Bull going for another one of the bingo tile checks of completing Cyan's Dream.
This is definitely one of those ones that I would have done early on the off chance that I find a character with sword tech and would then be able to use, full-on sword techs.
Oh, I think Siberian Bull is not aware that you only have to find one of the children. As they went back to the start to find that one.
That is one of the several sort of quality of life changes that has been made in Worlds Collide. You don't need to find all three children, you just need to find one of them. You also don't have your party scattered across the four winds in this scenario.
Yes, and to be fair to Siberian Bull, I was not aware that you could do that until probably like a month and a half. Someone had to tell me. It's not an obvious thing.
Yep, and there we go. We have the Phantom Train, who is traditionally killed with a Revivify or a Phoenix down. So nice to see us going back to our roots there.
Did any of them have Blitz?
I don't think any of them had Blitz at this point.
There was a bingo, right? I had to take it off because Blitz wasn't available in this seed, but there was originally a tile which was Suplex the Train. Because you should always suplex the train. Even if only for style points.
I will say in a seed that I did recently,
It's very funny seeing a tiny Moogle break the floor with his weight.
I did have a recent seed where the character I had who had Blitz got confused, suplexed himself, and got unconfused.
Oh, that was an amazing little clip. It has been posted in the Discord somewhere if people want to watch it. I wasn't aware that was a thing you could do.
Neither was I until I did it.
Yeah, someone in the chat when you did that too said that you can apparently steal from yourself if you're confused.
Is that a really, really dumb way of getting duplicate items?
I don't even know how it would work. I imagine... Well, I don't know what to imagine because the code in this game is so weird.
So, yep, Jack has now got his version of Strago.
His Poltergeist tile.
His characters are getting to rather high levels, and I think in possibly a first for Jack, he put that Strago in his party almost immediately.
Yeah, shock. But he only needs one tile. If he can find a monster that will put zombie on him, he is good on the bingo. His other, yeah.
But it looks like he is going...
If he finds Doomgaze and does the Fanatic's Tower, that's his other name. And he's going for the Fanatic's Tower to get a pigeon.
Yep, that is another character who has decided to dress up as a feathered friend with a bird. Also, I think this tower would be a good shot to get another dragon completed.
Indeed, especially... Okay, it's also very amusing seeing something very tiny or broken in the Magitech armor, and it's just driving itself. Apparently Kefka doesn't have the sprites for that.
Yes, so the sideways, the left and right sprites for Magitech armor are unique, but the front and back sprites are, I believe, just normal front and back sprites for characters.
It would appear to be the case, since we did see him falling down and going, with this. But yeah, free dragon for Jack if he elects to kill it. Unless I missed it, he's walked past it.
Siberian Bull has also found Kefka from Kefka at Narsh.
Yeah, which is one of the bingo tiles that's top right there that he has already clicked off. So, pretty confident about his win there, and why not?
So that once again makes both Cyan's Dream and Ozer's Mansion really, really valuable checks.
Yeah, both of them double bingo tiles. Whilst also giving you progression. So right now we have Jack needs 5 Espers. He's got more than enough characters and 3 dragons left. I'll be surprised if he goes out of his way to kill more than one of them outside of Kefka's Tower. Siberian Bull still needing 7 Espers, though he might 6 Espers, as it's just been updated, and that's a dead check, so it is 6 Espers, 1 character and 4 dragons. And Radio Guy just a little behind him with, well, I think he just picked up an Esper from the Ghost Train, I think. So that should also be 6 and 7. So
Jack did find out that if you try to revivify, aka kill, the wrong side of Chardnook, it doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah, the girl just comes back to life, is my understanding of how that boss works, no matter what. You can only kill the demon side.
That is correct.
But he killed the other end. Oh, and it's a ghost train in the sky.
Yep, one of the other minor little tricks that I put into the suit was doing random bosses, which means that bosses can appear multiple times. That is my favorite, especially when it becomes an oops, all Kefka Tower statue seed.
I have definitely had like Leet Rivers or the Magitech Factory thing where it was every single fight was one of the statues. And those were awful.
Yeah.
That's an Esper for Siberian Bull. I believe that was the Doomgaze check. Yeah, I can't think of anything else you'd fight in the sky with the airship in the World of Ruin.
Jack grabbing his Skull Dragon, one of those dragons that should be undead, but I don't think you can just revivify it in the vanilla game.
I'm pretty sure you're right in that. But in this case, 100% doable. And Siberian Bull going up to Narsh, presumably for that Valley Garmandus check. Interestingly, we're seeing a lot of no Moogle Charm stuff going on from Siberian Bull and Radio Guy. That's not something you see very often. I mean, people accuse me constantly of being that guy that doesn't wear a Moogle Charm, but I only take it off occasionally.
I mean, there are a couple of things that they could be looking for. They are trying to, get that Phantom Summon and a win.
And there it is.
It's also keeping their levels nice and high, but there are a couple of things looking for a ghost-shaped enemy.
That is going to be one of the harder ones. There are only a couple, as far as I know.
And there are several random enemies that can zombie you, so...
Yes. I mean, it's fair enough. They just seem to have been... That's a weird way for a pigeon to fly.
Yeah, Jack has surprised the living eggs out of that pigeon, I guess.
Yeah, let's see what it's got. It's a Celeste with capture. Probably not going in the party.
Celis, usually a character you're very happy to see. Capture, usually an ability you're not very happy to see.
No, it is absolute bottom tier. Like, it's a step above Steel, but even then, only kind of. It depends on whether you consider it useful to steal a lot, or you just want to steal every now and then, I guess. Durkin up on Siberian Bull there, getting his first Durkin in.
Yeah, and Radio Guy just got Chancellored hard in the Ghost Train here.
Yeah, that's... Chancellors are good at that.
Jack looks like he is doing the Mobilize check here. Looks like he is looking for that Doom Gaze. He is looking for a way to get zombied. He has several options available to him, and he is hunting them down.
Yep, he's got 2 definite 1-tile left lines, and oh, he found Doom, so that's another line that he only needs 2 for. And someone has found Doulahan, so aside from the Spectre, that's another doable line. That's not a nice opener, but, you know, for a bit of a fight.
Well, it only froze most of his party.
As long as you got 1 left, you're fine. And another couple bosses going down. Piranha, weirdly, despite being almost not dangerous at all, probably one of the longer boss checks that we're going to see here. Just because you have to wait.
Yep. Looks like the Tritalk check actually gave a gem box.
And Jack found a Hydon, which is another one of our little tiles somewhere.
Yep, so Jack needs to find Dullahan or Doomgaze or get a character zombied. Jack is actually getting almost close to either a double line or even a blackout here. He is making his way through.
If he finds Fenrir, that use Doom successfully tile is just whenever you want it. Siberian Bull apparently taking out Katana Soul. Usually a slightly more difficult prospect than that.
Katana Soul definitely has a couple of ways to cheese the fight, let's say.
Yeah, Jack going for Cyan Stream. Another line that he will have 4 on.
I believe that will also give him what he needs. Because that's a double check. It's one of the bosses as well, isn't it?
Yes, I can't recall which one off the top of my head.
But our wonderful tracker, Franklin, should be able to let us know. Here it is. I have a tracking sheet.
Phantom Train and Kefka at Nersh. So it'd be Kefka at Nersh at the top right.
Which, once again, wouldn't be quite enough.
4 out of 5.
Poor Jack.
Yeah, he's getting all of the checks. And none the right ones. Piranha and Tritalk going down on the top. And a Ghost Train going down on the bottom. These bosses are really non-events.
This is certainly not a set of flags I would want to run often, but I think as a one-off Halloween Spooktacular, I'm enjoying them.
I have a question, because I just saw something I've never seen before. There was a Chancellor hanging out in Radio Guy's screen here in the forest. What is that?
I legitimately don't have a single clue.
It's a ghost shop. Okay. I wonder. I don't think that's vanilla. I wonder if Atma just put that in for quality of life.
Atma, I do remember this now. Atma did put that in so that if there are things available only in a single shop, such as dried meat,
you don't have access to it.
Right.
Makes sense. I've just never gone back in there after the train was done, I guess.
Neither have I, and I was very confused.
Yep. Now I forgot what I was talking about before. Siberian Bull having some difficulty getting down to that monster in a box. And to be clear once again to the chat, ghost, in terms of what's on the tile, means literally ghost, or one of the palette swaps of the ghost enemy, that little punched up, phantom-y, sheep-wearing thing. Which, upon reconsideration, might be slightly too tricky.
It happens. They can't all be easy. And
Yeah.
I believe Siberian Bolt did get the Spectre Dance ability.
And there
Right
it is again.
there.
So that's another click off for that. Apparently it's on the Plains Dance. So they just worked through that and finally saw someone get it. So that's good for them.
He went and checked it off. I'm just shooting him a message in the chat room there to let him know. No, you got that one. You got the Spectre Dance ability, and you won the battle.
Yeah.
We all saw it. And yeah, we are seeing that most of our runners are a single square away. Some of our runners are a single square away in multiple directions.
Especially Jack.
That Doom Gaze is particularly challenging.
Yeah, no one's found Doomgaze yet. No one's summoned Fenrir, and no one's fought a ghost. Character Zombied is... I don't think anyone's really been looking for it, but it is... Like, I know someone did fight Haydn, so they could have waited to get Zombied in that fight if they had cared about that space. But outside of that, I don't know that we've seen anything that will turn you into a zombie.
I haven't seen anything. Typically, I see it's late game. I believe they were Kefka Tower enemies. They're the guys with like the 4 arms and the 4 swords.
The Ogors.
Ogors, thank you.
There's also some of those flowers that you fight in Daryl's Tomb, and that squiggly head guy that you also fight there. There's 2 or 3 things in Daryl's Tomb vanilla that can turn you into a zombie.
Jack has found another version of the Phantom Train, this time up in the sky, which is terrifying to find a train coming at you while you're in the sky.
Well, once again, you just kind of hope it falls.
See, I don't want my solution to something to be hope.
Yeah, fair enough. And also, once you see one train in the sky, it kind of puts you off going on any train in the future.
Yeah, what is worse, having a train flying at you or being in a train flying through the air?
Yeah, I don't really want to experience either of those.
So I will notice that our runners are particularly incentivized to try to get that Fenrir because Fenrir is good protection for Tier 3. Now, it's probably a little less important in this particular seed than it is in other ones, but I wonder if anyone's going to go to the auction house to try to find some Espers there.
Well, there is a fairly high Esper requirement in this one. I mean, it's usually 10, this time it's 12, so it doesn't seem like that much more, but a couple extra checks in a race of this do tend to take longer than you think. Most of the races I've played of this tend to either be kind of character heavy or kind of Esper heavy. This is one of the few where you go, oh, people are actually kind of even on both of them. But then you do get to the point where you go, oh, now I have enough characters and you always need less of them, so now I need Espers.
Yep, that is sort of the nature of these randomizers. Sometimes you get an even split. Sometimes you get, 14 characters before you get your third Esper.
Yep. Radio guy still hasn't fought any dragons, interestingly. Siberian Bolt going for seemingly every monster in the box.
There we go. He has found an undead one that he is confident about. He has checked that one off. All Siberian Bull needs to do is go for the Fanatic's Tower check, and he will have his complete line.
That's pretty good. And, still going for the other monster. Oh, no, wait, that's not the monster box. It's the one up there. Which he is also open.
Hey, I just noticed something.
And it's Pogs! Yes?
Jack has a complete line. He has the complete diagonal.
Ah, in the opposite direction, yes.
Has Jack noticed he has the complete diagonal yet?
He still needs another Esper, so...
And he needs a couple of dragons, so possibly. So
there are Durikins in Kefka's Tower, though, so knowing Jack, I would think he would probably just get the Esper and run.
Fair on that. So Jack is the first player who has successfully completed a full line here. There is a very good chance that he might complete more than a full line before he's done.
Well, considering the number of almost lines he has, if he gets zombied, he's got another 2 lines right there.
Absolutely, although there aren't any bonus prizes for doing more than 1 line.
No. Oh man, just looking at the non-streamed players' cards, someone has almost the entire... Someone's doing almost as badly as Jack, except without the full line.
That is the fun of something like this. You know, it just adds a little bit of spice to it and a little bit of randomness, which, you know, we are playing randomizers. We sort of have to be prepared for that, right?
Yep, but it's always good to throw in a little something to, mess with the veterans and give other people that maybe don't participate that often a little something different to incentivize them to participate.
Absolutely. Please, for anyone who is watching who thinks that they might be interested in joining our community, please go ahead and join our Discord server. We are, I would like to think, a very open and welcoming community. We're always willing to help new folks out. And, come and join us. I will be posting various other versions of this seed with similar flags if folks want to give this a try. Although no promises that all of the bingo squares are completable in all of the seeds if you want to use the bingo card as well.
It should be mostly doable, and I can, for more general purposes, take a couple of them out and replace them with more generalized things. But it'll be completable, just not necessarily every square will be doable.
Right.
Because, once again, with this style of... The only other time I recall us doing bingo, it was just a complete square of all the bosses, so it was pretty hard not to be able to finish it.
Right.
But when you're picking specific things, you do have to kind of vet the seed. But Jack's still looking for that last Esper, it would seem. And the other two in about the same place, especially with that Duriken going down on Radio Guy's side.
Absolutely. And to be honest, I think the only reason that they're a little bit behind Jack is that they've been taking lots of random battles. I think if they were to put on that Moogle Charm and just, blaze their way through, they would be where Jack is at this point.
Interesting also that Siberian Bull has apparently gone out of his way to fight this Skuldurgan, when he could have just gone for the Fanatic's Tower check and gotten his full line. But he does still need a few things, so like Jack before, entirely possible that he just felt more like getting the required items and characters than the bingo card. Jack fighting things, going for the floating continent apparently for 1 Esper. I think he might not realize that he has completed that line.
That certainly is possible. 1 Esper on the floating continent, you're almost guaranteed to get that Esper on the floating continent because there are 3 checks there. But you can't leave the floating continent until just before that second check. So if you get that Esper first, you're going to have to walk through quite a bit to get to that way out.
A bit of a slog even to get to the first bit. There's 2 bosses. He might just be going for levels for some reason, but Realm has 6,000 HP, so I think he'll be fine. If it were me, I would have just gone to the auction house or the Magitech facility for the quick Esper. But again, he might just not realize that he's got that opposite diagonal. Chatternook over there on Siberian Bull on Radio Guy, and Siberian Bull going for the Vanilla Dirt Durgan check. Opting to wait until KT to do the Durgans there.
Yeah, one thing that I think some players get a little confused on, the actual dragon gating is the door just before Guardian, so you can go do those 2 dragons to unlock that.
Yes,
Jack
characters will prevent you from getting into Kefka's tower. The Durgans just prevent you from getting to Kefka himself.
Jack now has 3 lines completed. He just found Dullahan.
Yeah, and if he gets zombied, he'll have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 squares on the board that Jack hasn't completed. So he just got slightly unlucky with the directions he chose to go, I guess. He does still need that 1 Esper though, so it'll be a second for that. Siberian Bull heading off to Jador. Radio Guy taking the long staircase down the Fanatics Tower because the elevator repairman never shows up.
No, it's very sad. Very Fanatics Tower is not up to code, which is, again, for the right kind of person, terrifying.
Yeah.
Some of us take building safety very seriously.
Well, maybe no one can use their building ability. I don't recall seeing any magic ability that is put up guardrail.
Fair. It is very interesting to see now Kefka sitting in the auction. Just doesn't seem like something Kefka would do.
No, he'd just blow it up.
All right. For anyone who might be joining us fairly recently, this is the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide randomizer. This is our weekly race. This is a Halloween spooktacular race. We have a special seed created for this event by our developer, Atmatech. And there are some special things about this seed. Number 1 is that every single enemy in this seed is undead and vulnerable to getting revivified.
Although we did not tell the players that, interestingly, all 3 on the restream have figured it out.
Siberian Bull has also going to pick up his copy of Fenrir at the auction house. And as for whether the hand from the menus here is the same hand as the one in Super Smash Bros., I really couldn't say.
I mean, it's just a glove. It could as easily be Glover. I don't remember. Master Hand, I believe is what it's called in Smash Bros. It's just a glove. It's more likely to be Mario's glove, I would think. They're all kind of very, very similar. It's just a white glove. A big, puffy white glove.
All right. Jack has found his 12th Esper. Thank you, Floating Continent. And I expect him to leave the Floating Continent and not complete it. But we'll see what he
might have
chooses
missed
to do.
that he has 3 lines.
Missing 1 line that's at the diagonal, I can understand. Missing more than 1, I would be a little, I'd be a little surprised. If he continues and ends up looking for those other things, I would think that he has set a personal goal for himself to do, a certain number of lines.
No, I think we'll see him get out of there immediately.
Hey.
Oh, there's a Chancellor for sale! Why would anyone buy that?
Why would a child want to buy a grown man? This is actually very, very creepy now, and I'm so sorry that is what's happening here.
Oh, let's just ignore that and concentrate on Jack going into Kefka's tower with his army of ghosts.
He has so many ghosts.
And this guy has defeated whatever was at Haydn. And, oh wait, no, sorry. He has defeated the box that precedes Haydn and is now fighting a Guardian, which will get revivified to death.
I do wonder how undead machinery works.
I imagine you have to stitch it together a lot. Would you consider Frankenstein's monster undead machinery?
I'll buy it.
Okay.
I'll buy
Problem. Another Esper for Siberian Bull. As Jack just walks through Kefka's Tower. I did not see what Radio Guy got out of that check.
He got a kitty hood.
Well,
Arguably the best helmet in the game, which is great, but meh right now.
Yeah, it's not like...
Much better if you complete it early.
It's a really good hat, but the field of really good hats is like 3 hats. So even the best ones aren't, stupendous. Oh, yeah, Siberian Bull tried to go into Kefka's Tower, still needs another character. Maybe didn't look at the requirements closely enough.
I did, in the Discord channel before we started, say this is important. The requirements are 8, 12, 4.
Oh yes, and we gave them the flags, and I noted it myself at the start as well. Sometimes you just overlook stuff like that.
Yep. Or you miscount. That also happens.
Yes.
More often than I care to admit about myself.
Yeah, I certainly undercounted recently and had to go find another Esper. Jack taking down a blue Durgan, which places him at 3 of the 4. So, like I said, he is just taking down the KT Durgans. Getting a kitty hood himself. Siberian Bull. Going to Owser's house. I thought we had already seen this check from them, but evidently not. It must have been Radio Guy.
Yep, and Siberian Bull has also completed his full line there. It is column 2 is complete for Siberian Bull, so he is ready to go through. And Radio Guy is almost there, but not quite.
Yeah, and also still needing 5 Espers, so they've got time to find some more tiles to do. Jack getting to the Inferno spot. Oh, that's not what you want to see on Ghost Train.
And to answer a chat question, so this particular Final Fantasy VI randomizer, Worlds Collide, we start you off with at least one character and the airship. You have the ability to go between the World of Balance and the World of Ruin. And you need to gather a certain number of characters, a certain number of Espers, and in some seats, defeat a certain number of dragons to go through and defeat Final Kefka.
Yeah, and the way you get those Espers and characters, the dragons are where they normally are, but the characters and Espers are at certain predefined checks, which are kind of... The way I thought about it the first time I did character dating was you get them in a counterintuitive manner. So Celeste's check, not to get Celeste, but to get something from Celeste, is where you would normally get Celeste, and so on. A lot of them are just the reverse of what you would think, but Kefka Nourish is a check, the Lone Wolf is a check. Lots of checks.
Siberian has now found another copy of Poltergeist as well, so able to check that one off.
Yep, Jack taking down some more piranhas in Kefka's Tower. Just kind of hanging out on some metal tiles, which is probably why they were so easy to kill.
Yeah, we're going to go with that.
And that's the last character Siberian Bull needs. They're still looking for an Esper, but they did try to go into KT a minute ago, minus a character and minus an Esper, so maybe Franklin's miscounted, or maybe Siberian was wrong on 2 counts.
It's possible. So yes, each check that you do, so say you go and do the Lone Wolf check where you would normally recruit Mog in the World of Balance vanilla, you have an option of getting either a character, an Esper, or a high-value item, because there are more checks than there are characters and espers in the game.
Yeah, and that high-value item pool would be things like Atma weapons, elemental shields, Illuminas, cat hoods. Good stuff that doesn't come up much in the base game.
Yep, it is certainly possible to get, 3 or 4 Illuminas if you get particularly lucky in a seed.
Yeah, or if you find them in a shop. Not necessarily just from checks. Because there are many, many flags in this randomizer. And you can kind of customize it however you want. The only real flag, I think, main thing that isn't randomized in this game is enemy stats.
Yes, enemy locations are randomized. So, as you can see, fighting Kefka at Narsh, not there.
Kefka at Cyan Street.
Very different. But that Kefka at Narsh enemy is going to be the same Kefka at Narsh enemy. We do have the enemies scale, meaning that their levels will scale to something. In this case, it is progress times 2, I believe, which means for every character and esper that you gather, the enemies gain 2 levels.
Yep, and if dragons are required, those also apply to scaling, although not otherwise. We did just see Siberian Bull get an esper, so they are also in go mode.
Yep. I believe he went and grabbed 2 espers just to be safe.
Yeah, I did just see them.
So, I can definitely understand that, but, definitely making his way through.
Yep. Jack already at the Guardian/Goddess section of KT. Heading up for the first Goddess statue, which in this case is Ifrit, which is not a problem. Because nothing in this game, in this particular seed, is a problem.
Nothing in this seed is a problem. But again, this is a special one-off. Thought it would be fun for Halloween. Get a little spooky, have some costumes going on, and of course, everything's a zombie.
Yeah, and it does still require some intuition. I was actually kind of surprised that the 2 newer racers found it out before Jack, but I guess they were fighting more random battles.
True. So right now, Jack is ahead. Siberian Bull is not that far behind. And Radio Guy is actually doing quite well. Just needs a few more espers, and he will be ready to join them up in Kefka's tower. I believe he also needs 1 or 2 more squares on his bingo card.
And 1 Durgan.
To be fair, 2 of the dragons are available in Kefka's tower, so and they are quite literally in your way. You have to go out of your way to avoid fighting them.
Yeah, they're just kind of hanging out on a platform, being all like, "Sup?
I'm a dragon.
I might be a requirement. Also, I'm probably not dangerous." That is another thing. In this seed, the dragons were scaled. Normally, in this case, it doesn't really matter, but normally they would be scaled and more of a danger.
Yep. And again, for people who might not be current Worlds Collide players, one of my favorite things about this randomizer, I'm actually going to mention 2 of them right now. One of my favorite things is that almost everything we have discussed is a flag. It is an option, so you can get, you can really customize the experience to what you want. But the other thing that I really like is that our players have taken incredibly different routes to get where they are. They do not have the same characters. They do not all have the same espers. And that is one of my favorite things, because there is not one correct path to get to the end here.
Yeah, that is something very nice about this randomizer. You can have people going completely different ways. Depending on, like, bingo is going to make it slightly harder, but completely different ways, and wind up within 5-10 minutes of each other.
Absolutely. And so we see Jack, who is getting into his final Kefka battle. He has come here with only 6 characters. he left the rest of his party there on the airship.
I'm surprised you didn't take the other ghosts, just because, well, I guess they had the Revivify, so it's not super necessary. But yeah. 6 characters, 3 of them are ghosts, all the Revivifies in the world. I don't think he's that concerned. Although this is going to be the one maybe slightly dangerous part of this scene. Because you can't revivify everything all at the same time.
That's true. You are going to have to be careful about some of the death counterattacks here. If you're not careful, you can get a quake to the face. And, well, I think at these health levels he's probably okay, but it's still going to do quite a chunk of damage.
His levels are remarkable. I'm not sure why that is. I didn't see him fighting a lot of random battles or anything. He must have just kept this same party essentially the whole game.
Keep in mind also our characters were joining at the average party level, so when he got Strago eventually, he did not join at level, 3 or 5 or whatever, so...
Yeah, I mean more Realm having 6,000 health. There's probably an Esper that I didn't... People have been so quick with the Espers, I haven't really noticed. There must be an HP plus on one of them.
Probably an HP plus 100%.
Yeah, Realm is usually bottom tier on health, so it's impressive to have that much.
I think Jack ran out of Revivifies, did he?
Oh, Jack.
Or they're just in a different spot. He didn't move them all the way up.
Okay. Well, he could have Phoenix down stuff as well. There were options. But Piranha's still going on for Siberian Bull? Question, Ravlin. I'm not sure if you know. If you run into multiple Piranhas in the same seed, do they operate on the same time delay?
I don't actually know, but I'm going to assume yes.
Yeah, I would think so as well.
I think Jack actually did run out of Revivifies and just used a Phoenix down instead.
I mean, fair enough. He's already on to tier 3. He doesn't need a whole lot else going on.
Jack, they were 1 gold.
Yeah, I mean, weirdly, I don't think people bought 99 of them when they had the chance. They bought a bunch, but not... I mean, they were essentially free.
Too funny.
Yeah, here comes some more Phoenix Downs. Interestingly, he seemed to use that one on Sleep instead of Girl.
Well, I think Girl just killed herself with Pearlwind because she's undead.
Oh, there goes an octopus.
I did not even consider that when I asked Atma to put on the undead flag on every enemy. That Girl opens with Pearlwind, which heals, but if you're undead, it hurts you. For your total HP. That is glorious and my favorite thing I've ever seen.
Sometimes she opens with Merton, but that's still hilarious. Siberian Bull taking down a dragon there. All good for the final fight, and we're gonna see Kefka go down here in approximately 10 seconds.
Yep.
And ready to fighting what was the Doomgaze check.
And could I ask either you or Franklin to enter in the final time for Jack, just due to how my restream setup currently is? It would get a little wonky.
I don't have the link readily available. Franklin, please.
Thank you. And it looks like Jack is done with an official time of 1:28:19. Let's see if we can get him in here.
Yep. Let's see. That was... Oh, I lost my screen. An hour 26 something. Pretty solid. I mean, this was obviously overall a fairly easy seed, but the goal for a lot of people in this randomizer has basically been get sub 130, so anytime you do that, even if it's an easy seed, you're doing pretty well.
All right, Jack said he will join us. I'm just looking for him.
Perfect. And we have Jack now joining us in the Restreams chat. GG, my friend.
If I didn't have to go to the bathroom, I would have won. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, GG, well played, Jack. What did you think of our little trick? Or was it a treat?
I really wish I figured it out sooner. I figured it out when I was fighting the cranes, so that was probably a good, half hour in for me, I think. My proccing weapons kept making the proc noise, and then I'm thinking, wait a minute, is everything undead? And sure enough, a Revivify kills the crane, and I'm like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. I wasn't sure if he would have actually made the entire final boss undead, so maybe I spent a little more time than I should have, making sure I had a little bit of offensive levels and stuff on my characters, where I could have just tossed Revivifies at everything, apparently.
Yeah, except that you ran out of them.
I thought about that whenever I was fighting the couple of bosses on the floating continent, but I'm thinking, I still have Phoenix Downs, so I should be okay. And, even then the Phoenix Downs only come into play if the last boss wasn't undead, which it was. But, I was well prepared there with a couple of Minervos and some high-powered dual-cast Fire 3, so I should have gotten through that fine if the last boss wasn't undead too.
Yeah, how did you feel about the bingo card? Because you got most of the squares.
I think the bingo card was actually really well put together there, because while you say I got most of the squares, there were a lot of freebie squares on there, to be completely honest with you, and it mostly came down to where's this boss or that boss. One thing I was kind of hitting myself over was when I was fighting Haydn, I probably should have waited a little bit for him to zombify one of my guys and then defeat Haydn, because I would have had a lot earlier.
Nobody managed to get zombied, but we did see Haydn, who is a natural zombification machine.
Yeah, exactly. I just got so into the habit of just, use item boss guys that, as soon as I confirmed him, I'm like, oh, darn it, I could have gotten a zombie right there, and that would have been a bingo, but I didn't reset because I hadn't been saving once I kind of figured out that, absolutely nothing is a threat. And I still needed Esper, so I'm like, okay, I might find this boss or that boss that I need.
Yeah, overall it seemed to go pretty good for you, aside from just struggling with a few of those squares. I mean, when you have so many ways to kill everything instantly, not much is going to stand in your way, but...
No, definitely not. This kind of feels more like an April Fool's race than a Halloween race, in that, there's this one item that destroys absolutely everything once you figure it out. So, even the bingo aside, I think how early you were able to figure out that everything was undead in this siege was, the true key to victory.
Yeah, that bit of intuition was kind of the main thing that was going to determine who won. We tried to drop a few hints, we made Revivify's cost a gold. I put Revivify in the most important middle square of the board, and we put...
I think the biggest hint was needing to proc a death move on an enemy.
Yeah, that was another thing I was going to say, was because you do that on anything, you find out everything's undead.
Yeah, that's where I figured it out, was the cranes, because I had my Umara with a wing edge, so he kept, the thing about the cranes, though, is that they don't have some sort of, regeneration animation, but it kept making the noise, and I was thinking, what's going on here? And then I'm thinking, maybe they're undead, try to revivify, and sure enough, there it was.
Well, I certainly hope you enjoyed our, special little seed here tonight, and, thanks for playing and putting on a good show, and I think you completed 3 full lines on your bingo card?
Well, I know that Finding Dad Luna completed 2, and I stopped checking boxes at that point, so it's possible I completed another another one somewhere.
I think you may have missed the first one because we were counting diagonals. So you had the bottom left to top right diagonal.
Oh, no way, diagonals counted?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I could have finished even faster.
Sorry.
Oh, well, I wasn't even thinking about that. No, I had a diagonal done as soon as I went to Mobley's World of Ruin then.
Yeah, you had it before you had all the things you needed to go to Kafka.
Aw, man, that's disappointing. That would have changed my routing a bit. But I still stand by the fact that if I didn't really have to go to the bathroom, I would have beaten both Fraggle and Zelfer. So, you know, those two can enjoy their, I guess we'll call it a moral victory for them, but let's be honest, I'm the real winner tonight.
Sure you are, Jack.
If you insist.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that was great. I liked all the like spooky sprite choices and the font and everything was great. I'm wondering if there's any other like little spooky surprises that I missed or anything, but you know, I'm just gonna tune into the broadcast and see how the other fellas are doing there. And yeah, I would just want to say though, I'm gonna have nightmares about Chancellors tonight, so thanks very much for that.
You and me, buddy.
Victory is mine.
Let's go, Bruins!
GG's, Jack, and as always, boo.
All right, so Siberian Bull is making his way through Kefka. I gotta say, this fight is a lot less terrifying when you can just instantly kill each individual piece.
Yeah, it's a bit less of a problem. Also, during that interview with Jack, I did just finally notice that the tracking information for the bingo card is set at 666. So, good job, you were Franklin, whoever did that.
So I do want to point out that Radio Guy did have a bit of a technical snafu where his controller stopped working. So he did restart his emulator, reload a save, did lose a bit of progression, but he's still trucking on through, so...
Good on him for keeping going. And Siberian Bull coming up to Sleep Goddess. Oh, I forgot to ask Jack why he revivified Sleep right away instead of Girl.
I mean, he might have known that she was going to kill herself with Pearlwind. Let's see if she does it again.
Entirely possible.
Yep, there it goes.
Yep, there she goes. I guess pulling out some life 3s here for some calmness insurance. Although I think Siberian Bull is the one that found Fenrir. Possibly just forgot about that. And Jack is saying if you kill Sleep first, you don't get calmness. Although my understanding was that if you killed Sleep first, Girl just revived him.
Right, so... but if you get the instant kill off on her before she gets the turn.
Ah, yes, fair enough. So, here comes the calmness. One ghost turned into a puddle of sheet, and then back up. And then an impresario, who is back up.
This poor impresario, he is so put upon.
Yes. He has the world on his shoulders. And coming up to Final Kafka, which should take, again, about 10 seconds.
I mean, that would have been sort of the meanest trick we could have done, is if everything was undead except for Tier 4 of Kefka.
Yes, that would have been amusing, but like Fraggle is saying, most of them have had someone with Possess in their party, so they just would have done that. Which is also an insta-kill, although not one we've seen much use of due to the Revivify sneakiness.
Alright, and it looks like Siberian Bull has the Crack Boom with an official time of 1:39:01. Just a reminder that I forgot to turn on the timer for a couple of minutes because I'm silly.
Yes. I had forgotten that. But let's try to get them in for an interview.
They will be with us in just a moment.
Perfect.
And we've got Radio Guy still making his way through. Again, a reminder that he is a relatively new player. He has been very game willing to be restreamed. Also, even new to Twitch. So, good on Radio Guy for continuing to go, for being willing to really put himself out there.
Absolutely, and with that kind of technical issue where you lose the time and stuff, it's even more commendable that they're still going. A lot of the veterans would just be like, I'll forfeit it. I really do enjoy that kind of stick-to-itiveness, to use one of the worst words ever.
All right. And we are now joined by Siberian Bull. Welcome, GG.
Hey, thanks.
What did you think of our special trick-or-treat seed for tonight?
Well, considering we were also
and we are now joined by Siberian Bull. Welcome,
the
GG.
Procs with Wing Edge earlier counted, but when pretty much seeing it getting lined up, I'm like, okay, and that's why I put Doom up there as well.
Yeah, I tried to tell you in the bingo chat, but I'm not sure how much people were paying attention to it.
Yeah. Well, either way, it still got marked. Didn't lead to my bingo though. I had a chance for a couple bingos there. Looking at the board here, I can only assume. Looking at the board, I can't help but question: was Hedon or Doom up top? Fanatics Tower.
Top of Fanatics Tower was not Hyden, as far as I recall. Two people went up there. Jack is the only one that killed Hyden, so it can't have been.
It was Chardanuk. Hyden
Jack.
was in Mobliz.
Okay.
And Doom was in Mobliz as well.
Yeah, Mobliz. There were a couple of double checks. There was Auser's house, there was Durrell's tomb, and there was Mobliz. For each of them yielded 2 tiles.
Interesting.
So what did you think of the little Revivify trick we pulled?
Well, considering the fact that I sold an X potion right at the beginning and saw the one gold Revivify, I was like, okay, we're doing this.
Yeah, you were the first of our restream people to figure it out, so good on you for that.
Let's see. And then I kind of just went wherever I felt like going. I don't know if it looked like I was getting slow out the gate, but it's like I pretty much did my normal Sphere 0 checks. But considering this was open world, I was like, you know what? Everything's undead. I can revive everything. I'm just going to do Kefka Darsh now. I'm going to do the Lone Wolf as well.
Yeah, and why not when you've got those insta-kill things? So you said you weren't familiar with the bingo. How did you find that part of it?
I actually enjoyed it. When I'm just getting in the room and alone was annoying. But outside of that, and I saw the board, I was like, okay, because I wasn't sure exactly what counted as a check or not, considering these were instant deaths. Considering the procs, like if it's just the proc and it works, does that count? That's the only thing that was going from my mind. But since they did, I'm like, okay. I was happy that I just randomly ran into which dance was Spectre. So I was like, you know what? This is going up on the board regardless.
Yeah, you're the only one that figured that out, seemingly. Including the people who are playing not on Restream. You're the only one who managed to get that Spectre spot.
And it was accidental too. It was like, let's see what Winsong does.
Yeah, that's actually the one spot on the board that had I realized that dances were randomized, I would have changed it. But it was a bit too late at that point.
Either way.
Yeah, you get the dubious honor of being the only one to find Spectre.
Yeah, it just seemed to fall into place there after, I want to say, Daryl's Tomb, because after getting Daryl's Tomb, it's like, all right, we pretty much went for the check. I pretty much went for the checks that had like 2 or 3 to get filled in. Anything that was like, you got to do this check in order for it to count on the board. I just went for them. So when it came to thinking about, I was like, all right, what am I going to do next? Is like, let's do Skies, and there was Phantom.
Yeah, it seemed to go pretty well for you after a while. I mean, Jack is a pretty veteran runner, and you're only 11 minutes behind him, so, good job.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's silly that I ended up finding Fenrir and then just don't use it. But at that point, I did have bingo. It was like, I need to go.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh yeah. Any other thoughts on the seed?
If I didn't check any chests and just went with the Revivifiers, I'm curious how fast it could have been.
Well,
Yeah,
if you're interested in checking that out, I will be releasing. Atma did give me 10 versions of this seed, or 10 seeds of this particular set. I will release all of those seeds, so if you want to figure that out, you can go ahead and give it a shot on a different seed.
Yeah, I will be amending the bingo card slightly for those, just because there are certain things that won't necessarily be doable, but also don't expect all the squares to be doable either way. We can't vet all the seeds.
Right.
Well, yeah, GG's, and, hope to see you doing more races in the future, man.
Yep, alright. It was a good time. Good luck to whoever else is available. I think it's just our other restreamer.
Video Guy is the last of our restreamed racers, still going at it. Maybe tune in and watch him finish it out.
Alright, well, good luck to him, and good luck to the rest of the restream.
Thank you, and thank you for putting on a good show for us.
Alright, see you next time.
Ooh, that's not a good fight.
I mean, it's less terrifying than it could be.
And with the Revivifies, you gotta kind of double take a lot of this stuff. The trade-off is still going to be obnoxious, but 4 characters,
I will say, because all of the enemies were so easy to defeat, all of our runners were going into Final Kefka very, very powerful. Lots of levels.
Unnecessarily powerful. Considering, everyone just kill anything.
So yeah, I definitely think if one knew the trick at the beginning, you could probably go through this whole thing at a very, very low level.
Well, we got a gray screen.
There we go. Everything's fine. Nothing happened. You can't prove anything.
It would be interesting to play this, and maybe some of our runners will do it off stream later, and just knowing from the start that Revivifies will kill anything, see how that affects your time and what you do in the game. Because you probably don't need to get basically any of the chests. Yeah, we're just gonna watch Radio Guy get his final 3 espers. What color is he? Blue? How close is he to a line? If he gets zombied, that's a line. If he finds Doulahan, that's a line. If he finds Doomgaze, which none of our on-stream racers have done, that's a line. So he's got some ways to get his bingo. And he's fighting a Welk. I don't think we've seen anyone else do this check, although the amount of time that people are... Oh, he's killing the shell! What a legend. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's entirely possible other people have killed the Welk. I just haven't noticed, because, it takes like 5 seconds to kill a boss.
So
well, yeah,
what do we find here? We find another Chancellor. God, these Chancellors are everywhere.
Just taking over everything. I really hope I can get the permission someday to do an Oops All Chancellors restream race and just confuse the hell out of everybody. Also give them nightmares for life.
I mean, I'm in.
Yeah, so just might as well take this bit of time to thank our racers while Radio Guy runs around. Siberian Bull, Radio Guy PDX, Jack Miss Wedge, go follow them, they're good people. As well as Ravlin and Franklin for helping me with the comms and the restreams and tracking. And as always, thank you to Atma for just being amazing.
Atmotech not only is the sole developer of this, he also takes quite a bit of feedback and incorporates what the community asks for regularly, and made these seeds special request for this event.
Yeah, he's very amenable dev, which is quite refreshing, and it just puts so much work into this. Everybody should come try it out. We've got a Discord that's very friendly to new people, and even if you don't want to join the Discord, just go run a seed or two on your own. It's good times. And we have a very dangerous Atma here, showing up because we called its name, I guess. But it's gone. And it's gone.
And it's dead.
Yeah, little difficult to commentate on strategy when there is none. But yeah, we're getting some red checks from Boo Jack for some reason. What are you doing, Jack?
So Radio Guy is definitely just looking for those last two espers. Not sure if he has done the auction house already.
I believe Siberian Bull is the only one that we've seen go to the auction house.
So the auction house is definitely an option. He could get them at the Imperial Camp, would get him an esper.
Yeah, we haven't seen anyone do Magitech. Those are generally a couple of pretty quick espers.
Mobiliz would give him an esper, and...
have we seen him go to Zen at any point?
Once again, nope. The Sketchy Dude in Zen would also get him those espers he is looking for.
Doulahan, that's another check off, which gives him a line.
Oh, Zen is a Genji glove. I can absolutely read the thing that is in front of me that specifically says that.
Well done. Me Entity also do good read.
You know, I can actually fix that now.
No, Me Entity.
I could just change your name in the Discord to that if you'd like. I do have that power.
We should all be wary of Ravlin and his scary Halloween powers. So, 2 espers left now. Interestingly, opting to swap out his party. Yeah, these, Radio Guy and Siberian Bull did fight some extra stuff, trying to get those procs and whatnot earlier, but level 47, even having fought a few enemies, is really high for an end game of it, at least for me, and generally for the racers who tend to be on the restream. Average, I would say, Kefka Tower levels is somewhere in the 30s for a race. And they're off to... You know, those little hitches are slightly disorientating.
Yep. That's something I'll probably just talk with him afterwards, see if I can help him figure that out.
Yeah, they're new to Twitch, so you know, you're gonna have those hiccups. It's possible they just have their stream settings too high and they can't keep up.
Yep. I do believe that this weapon shop will absolutely give him one of those espers, and then
it's an esper, and then the useless paladin shield is at 30, I believe.
Yeah. So,
what number would you say, Ravlin? Like, even at the start of the game, is the highest you would go on a paladin shield unlock?
15.
Okay. I might go as high as 18. Well, yeah, 30's real high.
But that is something I would need to get at the, like, literally start with lock and go there before I do anything else. I would do 15. In terms of getting it sort of mid-seed, less than 10.
Oh yeah, 5 to 10 max. And this late, basically, it's going to have to be 1 or 2.
Right. Paladin Shield is the best defensive item in the game, arguably better than an Illumina. It is weird saying that an Illumina is one of the best defensive items in the game, but here we are.
It's got 50% of both evades. It's really good.
I'm pretty sure that with an Illumina and a Paladin Shield, nothing in the game would be able to kill you.
Pretty much Illumina Paladin Shield is you're unkillable, and now just go by Jack.
Yep. Radio Guy does have his bingo line is completed, and he is 1 Esper away.
Yep. And for anyone confused about all the red suddenly on that bingo card, Jack has apparently decided to draw a red skull. Which is not super obvious. When there's a bunch of other colors on there. But Valley Garmandus with the dead check, as we've seen, I think, from both of the other racers, the gem box. And then I don't recall what was in here.
It is another item.
Oh yes, double. It's some Merble shoes, so double item check. Not what you want, especially having to climb all the way up Nersh.
But you are able to warp stone out. So
yes, that is the one benefit of World of Ruin Nersh, is that you are allowed to warp because reasons.
I mean, I think it gets considered to be a dungeon, effectively.
Yeah, whereas the other one is a town, even though half of it isn't. Froggy.
That's right. I chose Frog for Umaro's Sprite because it is a common strategy in Chrono Trigger speedruns to berserk the frog.
He is strong.
Like there were reasons why I made the decisions that I did. I just had to remember what they were because it was several days ago and I've slept since then.
I wasn't aware what that one could possibly be. I thought you were just basically picking monster costumes.
I mean, that was part of it.
And he's gonna warp stone out of there because why not? Hopefully we see him go to the auction house or something. I think that's essentially a guarantee.
I mean, the auction house is a guarantee eventually.
Yes, it's just not necessarily a quick guarantee. I think he's going to check the Zen Esper.
Will you save before you go in? Oh.
But,
he hasn't done the collapsing house either. Collapsing house is also an item. Of course it is.
He's not having much luck here. It is a Minerva. And then I believe someone said in the chat that that just gives you an item. So it's a Zen Esper dude.
Yep, it was a Genji glove.
So that's not going to help him much. Skipping the chest, just going to get all of the things that he needs, which is just that one child. Who is apparently too stupid to get off of the fireplace.
No, the other clear choices would be Floating Continent or Magitech Factory.
I would do Magitech. I would do Magitech way before I did Floating Continent. The first check is pretty quick, and then the second check is incredibly quick. And both of those are just Esper / items. So, I mean, we did see Jack get an Esper at the first Floating Continent check. But yeah, I would run to Magitech or the auction house probably.
There are plenty of options available to Radio Guy at this point.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, there are also checks that, we haven't seen Magitech, we haven't seen Mount Colts. Could be a choice. We haven't seen the Burning House, although I would not recommend that. We haven't seen the Ancient Castle.
That's also quite a long check. Yeah, I would say Magitech. I don't recall what Mobley's gets you. One of them is an Esper. Well, I mean, it is just one check, so that is also a doable thing, and that appears to be where he is. I was looking away. So this will get him an Esper.
This will get him an Esper, and I believe 2 of the bosses. He might complete a second bingo here. He will, because one of them's hiding.
Even hide them, so that'll be no line there. Actually, no, he has proc instant there. He didn't check it off because I apparently did not make that sufficiently clear when it was brought up in the chat. Because he has both used Doom and proc instant there, so he should basically, if it's ostensibly and technically this gets him another line. We just have pushed button. Yeah, so a lot of overlap on the checks. A bunch of opportunities for second and even third lines from people. And here comes Hiding in the Hiding Knights.
I do have to say, they sound like, one of those, late 1950s, early 1960 bands.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a doo-wop group.
Thank you. That was what I was going for, and those words were just not coming.
Well, as I've said before, you just gotta do more of Mr. Sandman with your vocal things. And that'll give him his Esper. He should be heading off to Kefka's Tower at this point.
And appropriately, the background music is playing a little bit of Dancing Mad. His sound wasn't coming through quite clearly, so I just played some of the Final Fantasy music behind it.
Fair enough. I can't listen to the stream at the same time as I do this, or I get everything doubled. So I was not aware of that. Oh, no, he apparently miscounted or misunderstood or just really wants more Espers. Because he is going to do the auction house. And it gets a splendid Atlas armor.
It is possible when he had to reset that he lost one of the Espers that he had.
Yeah, that is fair. That's not something we're privy to, I guess. But he does have an Atlas armlet, so now he can throw those Revivifies even harder, I guess. Or no, he's not buying it. Recent traditional meta for the auction house in the World of Ruin has been just buy everything. So I was expecting him to just mash A, I guess. But there's the Esper he needs. Surprising how much money people have in the World of Ruin, frankly.
Well, isn't this just another case of the rich get richer?
I suppose so. And the poor get blasted by beams of light. Just like in real life.
My real question here is, what is the economy of the World of Ruin? Like, how does GP have any meaning anymore?
Maybe you can build anti-beam of light shields out of it. Well, yeah. We have to presume at this point that he's going to run off to Kefka's Tower.
I think so. I missed counting how many Espers he had there. He went through it a little bit too quickly for me to...
Yeah, that's hard to do if you're not in control of it. He is turning towards Kefka's Tower. But is going to fight a Durgan, it would seem. And that is the case. Whether you fight the Durgan here or in Kefka's Tower is a point of personal strategy. In the case of this seed, I would definitely do it in KT, simply because of the Revivifier. But if you ran into, for example, a Pearl Dragon, and you hadn't been gearing up because you knew you could kill everything, that might wipe out 3 party members right off the bat.
Certainly possible, although you still have that 4th party member to get off the Revivify, so...
But you don't know that you're going to have that 4th character in Kefka's Tower. I usually wind up with only 2 or 3 in the party.
Fair.
But the Skulldurgan presents no problem. And it just goes down. And I guess we'll have to see if he elects to fight that final Durgan in Kafka's Tower or goes and seeks out another one.
That was another thing he had lost when the message just said 2 dragons left. So he lost a dragon to the reset. You know, technical difficulties are unfortunate, but just a fact of life sometimes.
Yep. The only race I've had to forfeit on a race stream was because my computer just died. So stuff just happens sometimes. And how many ghosts is he gonna take? That's even fewer members than Jack had.
He is going in, I believe we're going to call that lean and mean.
Yeah, you could call it that. I would call it slightly reckless. But, you know, with a seed like this, you got reasons to be reckless. And I say that mostly because putting just one character in any party can lead to problems. There are certain bosses and enemies that if you run into them, you get an attack off before you. Although, since that is the murder child with her almost 6k health, it'll probably be fine to survive whatever attack. Just don't fight the dragon with that better than you might like. To the Inferno check. Oh.
Going in without a save.
And it's some piranhas. Almost. Got a rare glimpse of tools in this seed.
But because it's a wing edge and that can proc instant death, we had a reviving piranha.
That's not the weapon you want to be using in this seed, except at the start when you're trying to unlock that one tile.
And it looks like he's just going to give it a little bit of time to wait to... Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Unfortunately, this line in the menu. Another enough. Wing Edge is one of those weapons that you don't think about, but it does provide a weirdly large proportion of good stat boosts. Just not much by way of defense.
It is a decent stat stick, and you know what? A lot of times you're going to take a decent stat stick and be fine with it.
Yeah, like people will deride the Excalibur constantly, but if I'm at the end of the game, sometimes that's the best weapon I can put on. Well, at least we figured out that Kafka isn't done dead.
You know, I think the quote-unquote problem with Excalibur is that it's just not as good as you would expect it to be based on the fact that it's an Excalibur.
Yeah, I mean, the legendary sword of King Arthur, you expect to be, you know, top tier, not, it's alright. Well, I think part of the problem is also with this game, the best weapons are very, very clearly the best weapons, and then there's a big gap before anything else is good again.
Absolutely. If you discount Illumina and Ragnarok, then the second tier of weapons, I do believe there's quite a few sort of clustered around each other. What it would be like the Aura Lance and Excalibur.
Excalibur, Fixed Dice if you want to go there.
Magus Rod as well.
Magus Rod is amazing if you have a caster. It's like 30% magic evade and a bunch of magic. I mean, and it does sort of depend on your setup, but yeah, there's a certain gap between very obviously the best thing and then use these, and which one is the best is situational. And down goes the final Durgan, possibly for Radio Guy. Oh no, wait, that last one didn't count because they were missing like 2, 10.
And once again, we have realms here. Just seem to be the murder children. I mean, his realm doesn't have 7k HP, but Realm has quite a bit of power behind her anyway.
Yeah, and it's totally unnecessary. There's a Revivify. Here's a Revivify. Here's a Revivify. Oh, these 6,000 health? Don't worry about that. Here's a Revivify.
I suppose we could actually call this the Oprah Seed. You get a Revivify. You get a Revivify. Everyone gets a Revivify.
Except at the end of Jackson. At Phoenix Dance. Late to the bed.
Still, that is one of my favorite little things that happened here is we give you effectively free Revivifies and one of our runners runs out.
Yeah, I mean, he could have bought 99, he just chose not to. And Blue Durgan, one of the more dangerous Durgans.
You'd really think that a blue dragon versus a tiny Moogle would not be as one-sided a battle as this is.
Yeah, but he's got some kind of draw. Away goes the Durgan. And Tiny Moogle.
Doing the dance.
Yeah, learning clean sweep, getting a cat hood. That is Kefka open for Radio Guy. And I presume we will see another fairly one-sided battle.
So, Alabasta, this is a special Halloween trick-or-treat seed. One thing that we modified in this seed, and we did not tell our runners, was that every single enemy in this game, in this particular seed, is undead and vulnerable to Revivifies. That is up to and including all of the final Kefka bosses. So it took most of our runners between 20 and 30 minutes to figure out the special trick and or treat, depending on how you look at it in this seed.
Yeah, and once they got to that point, it was kind of just an easy time. More a matter of getting the bingo at that point than actually, worrying about strategy or where to go. I mean, where to go was still kind of a thing.
Yeah, and we put this together as a special Halloween trick or treat, and just something a little bit goofy, just because we felt like it.
Yeah, might as well get all the spookums out while you can. Not many cases so far to run some kind of specific holiday-themed thing. And I think non-Halloween holidays would probably be a little bit harder to do.
I don't know, we could possibly talk to our Sprite folks and see if we can get everyone with a Santa hat on for Christmas.
Yeah, I could think of a few things to throw at people for a wintry Christmas seed, but it would not be as easy to theme as this has been.
True. I suppose, actually, my Christmas wish would be nothing at all has changed except for Final Kefka is wearing a Santa hat.
Oh, and he just throws mega elixirs at you. Presents! And Narapa goes down about as fast as it usually does.
I was going to say, with some of these bosses, nothing changes if they're undead.
Yeah, some of them are just pretty easy to begin with. And here we get an Ifrit. And here we get a not an Ifrit. And sploosh. Yeah, it's been pretty easy on the runners. I was actually... Like, there were hints and stuff, but it's good that they all figured it out. Aside from apparently Zelfer, who wasn't a Respawn Tracer.
I was a little concerned that that people wouldn't figure it out, but or that one person wouldn't figure it out, but
That would have been unfortunate. But even in that case, they had possessed, so
yes.
they still had a way to go fast. Me entity. I don't know why, but I do still find that amusing. Oh, almost fought the Yeti.
And down goes Numaro.
Yep. Man, this bingo card is really in last place. Probably spent too much time on those dragons.
And the skull.
Yeah, but the skull was just unnecessary. But also, why get 6 dragons when you only need 4?
That's actually something that happens quite a bit in our races, where runners will fight dragons they don't, strictly speaking, need to, because they do give really good experience and magic points and good items.
Oh yeah, if I come across one that I think I can kill in a minute or less, I will definitely fight it. Or if it's really early and I'm pretty sure I can do it, I'll give it a shot, but they're not required for that Esper check that they used to give, and even then nobody fought all 8 dragons. But they're still really awesome. And down goes another statue. And we're gonna see a final Kefka here in a few minutes. Which will presumably give about as much of a struggle to this player as it has to everyone else, which is to say, essentially none. There's almost no way for this to go badly.
Yep. And so we will try to bring Radio Guy in for an interview as soon as he is done here, just to chat about it a little bit. And afterwards, I will be bringing the stream over to raid the RPG Valkyries, who are currently doing a charity marathon. They are playing Final Fantasy IV at this moment, and the charity that they are raising money for is a mental health charity. So something that I'm very happy to support. I was, in fact, in one of the earlier Ragnarok races, so here to throw them some support as well.
Yeah, you gotta do what you can. So if people want to stick around for that, maybe throw a few bucks their way. It's worse things you could do with your life. And they did give us a little bit of love when we were playing on there a few days ago, helping them out with their marathon, playing this game. So, reciprocity and such. And Tier 1 goes down essentially instantly. Time for Tier 2. I do find it interesting. This probably would have been a bit harder if you didn't automatically fill all your characters' bars at the start of each phase.
Yes, that would certainly make it a little bit more challenging. For the record, anyone who is interested, a lot of this music actually comes from a album called Balance and Ruin. If you look for it on YouTube or just Google Balance and Ruin, you will find it was a community-run project to make remixes of all of the Final Fantasy VI music. One of my favorite things. I absolutely recommend it to literally anyone who enjoys Final Fantasy music in particular. Getting, a different person's take on each piece is really fascinating musically.
Yeah, I've heard a bunch of it off and on through the restreams, and it has generally seemed to be of pretty high quality. So there goes Tier 2.
One thing I've discovered playing this randomizer a lot is that 10 hits is rough.
Awful? Yeah.
It is rough.
If you're not very defensively equipped for physicals, which most people usually aren't, we tend to concentrate more on evade and magic than physical. You can be taking like 700 a shot from that. And if you're, level 30 something, you might only have 2 to 3k health, so a few unlucky shots from that can kill one or two of your people.
Yep. And there we go. Once again, girl has taken herself out with Whirlwind.
Yeah, she's been very helpful this season.
The unintended consequences of everything being undead has just been amazing.
Yeah, and Sleep really seems to hate Terra today as well. I think he's hit her every time with combos. And here we come up to the final Kefka. Get ready for an anticlimax, people.
I mean, Kefka is being taken out by himself, a chocobo, and an itty-bitty teeny-tiny Moogle.
I hope they use Realm to use the Revivify.
That seems appropriate. Kefka is his own worst enemy.
Oh no, they flipped off of it. Oh, they wanted to use Possess instead. Fair
Nice.
enough. There goes Kefka. I guess in that case you get to skip the Krakows and stuff. Like the rumbling away. I'm not sure, although I don't recall that happening with the Revivifies we saw earlier. But maybe I just wasn't paying attention.
And that's a GG. I'm going to have Radio Guy join us in the chat in just a moment.
Terra turned into a Chancellor.
Because the Esper Terra sprite is a Chancellor too. Chancellors everywhere.
It's the most frightening World of Ruin I have ever seen.
All right, and in just a moment we should get him into here to chat. Again, once we leave here, we will be... oops, wrong one. I'm trying to do too many things at once and confusing myself.
We will be shooting over to the RPG Valkyries, who are doing a charity stream of Final Fantasy IV at the moment, during their marathon, helping out, I believe it's Take This, a mental health charity. So, stick around for that after we finish up this interview.
All right, and here we go. Radio Guy PDX, welcome. GG, how did you like the seed?
Hey, that was a lot of fun. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you great.
Awesome. No, that was a lot of fun. Definitely a different style of seed for me. At least, I'm used to gated character seeds, which I'm sure was obvious through the first 20 to 30 minutes of my run, just doing checks of the characters that I had. But the open world was cool, and then just kind of, once I figured out the Revivifies and bought 99 of those, I just kind of started trying to go to town. The bingo card really stuck me up, trying to get a character zombied, and the very first random encounter that I had was against a Zombone, and I ran away from it, and I'm pretty sure that they'll zombify me. I think they will. I don't know about this seed. This has been fun.
They definitely do zombify you. No one on the restream actually got that square, and multiple people, actually no one off the restream either, did get that square. And we definitely did have people run into Haydn, for example, which is another thing that will definitely turn into something.
Yeah. And Mobley's was World of Ruin Mobley's was quite a check. It had both I think it had both Haydn and Doom in it. That was kind of crazy.
Yep. Just the way it ended up working out, a lot of our checks were counted for 2 squares, so just how it worked out.
It was a lot of fun. This was my first bingo and my first live race seed. So this, I'm not as happy with my time as I think I definitely could have done better if I was at least more conscientious of the flags and focusing on what was in my square and everything. Because by the time that I finally got my bingo, you probably saw I had no idea where I was as far as requirements for KT, and so I had to go back in and count my characters and count my espers to figure out how much more I had.
Well, you did run into some tech issues there. We also were on the side of we don't know what you have because the tracker was no longer up to date with what you had. So.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, especially when I had to go back because I know I had an offering at one point. Ended up with 2 fixed dice. That's one of my favorite builds. And then when I reset, I don't know where the offering was.
Well, conveniently in this seed, didn't really matter.
Exactly, and once that kind of clicked, where it's like it really doesn't. As long as I've got enough armor to get through one attack, I should be all right.
Yeah. Any other final thoughts here on our seed? Once again, thank you for this being one of your first restreams. I really appreciate you putting yourself out there for us.
Of course, and I mean once I was like 2 espers left, and I know that someone had just finished right when I was having those technical difficulties. I'm like, I can power through this. It's my first time. And I just want to thank you guys, the Restream team, Franklin Tracking, everyone who does stuff behind the scenes. It's so appreciated. And I've only been here for a couple months, but everybody is awesome in the Discord. So come join us.
Thank you so much. Couldn't have made a better recruitment statement myself.
Awesome, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
You too. All right, let's see if the bot is going to be here. Randomania should now be moving over to host the RPG Valkyries.